Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tuesday. Rachel, December 17th, year of our Lord 2019. Another birthday in the family, Jaden. My sister-in-law.
Oh, you're
Sister-in-law. Well, it's an in-law.
Yeah, you do more people. Are you Italian?
No. No, but I grew up Catholic, if that means anything. So they tended to have bigger families as well, larger families. All right, let's go over today's work. Ready? I believe you started your homework on number 4, and you found out that B equaled 1. If you missed it, mark it. We'll go over any rough spots at the end. Number 5, you found out that N was 5. Number 6, hopefully you solved W to equal 4. Number 7, hopefully you discovered that M equaled 7. Number 8, you discovered 8 and 9. I didn't get any questions yesterday, and I don't think went over how to clear your equation of fractions. Evidently, many of you got it because you didn't ask. One person did, and I think they got it figured out now. Numbers 8 and 9, ready? K equals negative 14. How do you get rid of the fraction? We got K minus 6 over 2. My eraser. Of course the eraser's never here when you really need it.
I have a tiny pinky eraser.
No, not tiny. A real eraser, like a towel.
It's not a real eraser.
I know.
You're making fun of Nina's eraser. Yeah, my poor eraser.
Yeah, your eraser's. Just kidding. All right, ready? K minus 6 over 2 equals negative 10. All right, how do I get rid of that fraction in my equation? I can get rid of that fraction. Remember, as long as you do the same thing to both sides of an equation, you maintain the equality, right? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. So what if I was to go like this? If I was to multiply this left side by 2, these would cancel each other, and I'd be left with just K minus 6 over 1, or K minus 6. If I multiply this side by 2, though, I got to multiply that side by 2. So now we have negative 20. So my new equation is K minus 6 equals negative 20. How do you get rid of the negative 6? You add 6. And that's how we got K equals negative 14. Everybody got that?
Yeah.
So you don't have to deal with fractions. You clear the fraction by multiplying by the denominator. Yes?
For number 6, I got negative 10 and it worked.
For number 6, you got negative 10 as your solution. Well, it doesn't work, dear, because if you got negative 10 as your solution and you plugged it back in, you would get negative 85 as an answer.
Why?
Because negative 10 minus 7 is negative 17.
Wait.
We can go over that at the end. Everybody got number 8, negative 14. Number 9 then is, based on that, Bella, what'd you get for 9?
I don't know if it's right.
Go ahead.
70?
No. 82. 82. Because if I multiply both sides by 7, I get Z plus 2 equals 84. And subtract 2 from both sides, you get 82. I do believe we did number 10 on the board yesterday, true? To get those 250 tickets. Number 11. Is 6 a solution? No. What'd they do wrong? It's not 6, it's... No.
4.
No. It's -6. That's the solution to that problem. If you missed it, mark it. Don't hide from it. It's coming back. Number 12. Is -10 a solution? Yes. Number 13. Is 2 a solution? No. What is the solution, Elise? 3. Number 14. Is -3 a solution? Yes. Turn the page. Let's have some fun. I love problem-solving strategies. Let's go on a road trip. In the last 3 days, you've driven 720 miles, 650 miles, and 800 miles. Your car's odometer. Who here never knew what an odometer was till just now? Good. You don't know what the odometer is? The speedometer is the one that tells you how fast you're going. The odometer is the one that's keeping track of how many miles you've gone. Okay. So your car's odometer reads 20,490 miles. What did it read 3 days ago? How would you find that out? Solve that problem in 30 seconds. Go. Where's your paper? Let's go. Number 1, page 277 out there in cyberspace. Number 1, we're going to solve this problem. We have 20 seconds left to solve how many miles was on the odometer 3 days ago if in the last 3 days you've traveled 720, 650, and 800 miles. God bless you. Let it out. Let it go. Let it go. Wait, did I see a commercial? There's like Frozen 2 in the movies now?
Yeah.
Or is that old? Is that new? Okay. Hey, at least this time I knew there was a Frozen 1. A lot of these times I'll see a movie, something 4 or 5, and I'm like, never heard of the first one. Now, I probably wouldn't have heard of Frozen 1 if it wasn't for Let It Go. All right, what do we get? LP, how many miles was on that odometer of Salem's Taxi 3 days ago?
18,320.
18,320. Who else got that? Absolutely, because how'd you figure that out? You added up how many miles you went and how many miles is on the odometer now, and you subtracted how many miles you went the last 3 days. Amen? Number 2, let's talk about money. Yeah. Mitchell's favorite subject. You put half your money in the bank. The next day, you receive your $10 allowance. Anybody get allowance anymore? No. Used to be kids would get allowance, and now in this generation, kids don't get allowance, they just get whatever they want. Anyway, that's my little editorial, and now we'll move on to back to math class we go. All right.
Back to math class?
Oh, yes,
thank you.
You heard math as nap, really?
Wait, you said math?
Yeah. All right, ready? You put half your money in the bank. The next day you get your $10 allowance and you buy jeans for $25. I think you still get a decent pair of jeans for $25. And this was a long time ago. Yeah. You have $17 left. And then they have a diagram for you. How much money did you start with? Can you follow that diagram? You got money that you put in the bank, amount you received, jeans you bought, and at the end of that, it says $17 because that's how much you got left. What symbols do you put along the way in that diagram? Are you starting on the right? Is anybody confused?
Yeah.
Okay. Start on the right side with the number they gave you. You have $17 left. As you work your way back to the beginning, are you going to add or subtract the money you bought for the jeans? You're working your way back, so you're going to add $25 to the 17. See how much you started with. This 17 is what you had left. It's over here on the right. The next thing says, what are you going to put here? You're going to put 42. You with me?
Yeah.
You're going to put 42 there because you just spent, or you had to add back the 25 you spent for the jeans. So you're working your way back to what you originally had. Then you keep working left, and it says you received an allowance. Are you going to add that or subtract it as you work your way back? You're going to subtract it. Look, you ended up with 17. You're working your way back to find out how much you started with, David. So the money you spent, you add back into your account. The money you received, you subtract. So you went from 17 to 42. Now you're back down to 32. And then it says at the beginning that you put half your money in the bank. So if you put half your money in the bank, normally you're dividing it in two. So what are you going to do with that 32?
16.
You're going to multiply it by 2 because you're working backwards. It's confusing because you're working backwards. Instead of telling you that you started with $64 and then they said you got $10 allowance or you put half in the bank, got $10 and spent 25, they're starting you from the end saying you have 17. How much did you start with? So you have to work your way backwards and undo what you really did. Does that make sense? How do you undo? By doing the opposite. So you had 17, you spent 25 on the jeans, so if you're working your way backwards, you actually add that 25, even though you spent it. You got $10 in allowance, which you would normally add to your bank, but you're working backwards, so you subtract it. You put half of it in the bank, which normally means you divide it by 2, you multiply it by 2. So you started off with how much?
16.
No, $64. You're doing the opposite. Add 25, subtract 10, multiply by 2. And now if you work, how you doing, Dominic? What happened?
Oh, my foot. I don't know yet. My results are too.
Did you play yesterday?
Oh, no. Yeah.
No, was there a game?
What?
Was there a game?
Oh, no.
Practice.
Yeah.
Is that where you heard it?
No, I initially heard it there, but then I heard it worse at home.
Oh. Okay, I'm moving on from 2 unless you have questions. Nobody has questions. Not even Casey. Number 3. Let's talk about something that used to be not that long ago. The time you were born. There used to be these things called phone cards. I think they actually still have them. I think you can actually still get them at like Walmart, track phone, stuff like that. Jill uses 3/5 of the minutes on her phone card to call her brother, 15 minutes to call a friend, and 5 minutes to order pizza. Wow, that's some really in-depth pizza ordering. If she has 4 minutes left, how many minutes were on the card before she called her brother? So she started off by calling her brother. How many minutes were on the card before she started all of them? What would be a strategy? She has 4 minutes left. This problem comes right after number 2. What strategy did they just give us for number 2? To work your way backwards and undo things. So if she has 4 minutes left, and she used 5, used 15, that's not so hard. But then, what about the 3/5 thing? You have 4 minutes left. You used 5 and 15. What are we going to do with those numbers? Add them back, right? So you're up to 23. You with me? You're up to 20. minutes because you have 4 left. Back for the pizza. You put the 15 back for the friend. I'm sorry, you're up to 24. You're up to 20. You're up to 24 minutes. How many minutes did you have to start? If you use the first part of your minutes, 3/5 of them, calling your brother. How do you undo 3/5? How do you undo 3/5? You're like, no, you can't. You don't. 3/5 of something is multiplication.
What?
3/5 of something is multiplication. So what's the opposite of multiplication?
Division.
So what if you divide by 3/5? What's that the same as? Multiplying by 5/3. Right? How many minutes did we get back so far? We started with 4. We got back to 5. We got back 15. We're up to 24. Here's another way of saying it. If we use 3/5, wait a minute. If we use 3/5 of our total minutes and it got 24, how much of our total minutes did we have left? Do it that way. Listen to that again. Right now we have 24 minutes. Is everybody square with that? You had 4 left. You gave back the 5. You gave back the 15. You're sitting at 24. They told you that you used 3/5 of your total to get 24. So in other words, 3/5 of something is 24. Chew on that for a second. Sid, you have 24 minutes once you put back your 5 minutes to the pizza and your brother. They told you that your original minutes you started with, you used 3/5 of them. You used 3/5 of the original minutes, and that got you to 24 minutes. So what's X? How do I get rid of this 3/5? You with me? Okay, that cancels. Leaves me with X, 24 times 5/3. It doesn't seem right.
It's right. 45. That's what I thought. No, like 44.
It doesn't add up. If you had 40 minutes to begin with, go ahead.
So if the part that you already used was 3/5 and 24 is the other part, wouldn't 24 be 2/5?
Yes.
Then couldn't you just multiply it by 2.5?
What?
24 is 2/5 of
The total.
the total.
And if you multiply that by 2, then that's
Okay.
4/5.
Hold on.
And then a half, and that's 60.
Look, that's where I wrote it wrong. If you used, remember we're going backwards. If you used 3/5, that means the 24 that you have. I'm sorry. 24 is 2/5 of your total.
What?
If you used 3/5, listen, if you use 3/5, that means 24 is 2/5 of your total. Does that make sense? Okay. Start with the 4 minutes you had left. Add back the 5 minutes that you talked to your brother, or pizza. Add back the 15 that you talked to your brother. You have 24 minutes, right?
Right.
If you used 3/5 of your total, that means 24 is 2/5 of the total.
36.
I wrote 3/5. Because we work backwards, so we added the 5, added the 15. So we multiplied not by the 3/5, but the 2/5 they're left.
I got it. She had 15 minutes.
So now X is 24 times 5/2. 60. Now 60 is where we started, because if I take 3/5 of 60,
You don't even.
I thought it was 50.
Jill uses 3/5 of the, okay.
No. I feel like that's.
Yeah, if she used 3/5 of her minutes, she'd have 24 minutes left.
Wait, okay. I understand the 2/5.
I thought it was 50 because that's 2/5, and if you put that in half, then it would be 12.
There you go, solve
12
it.
times 3, because you have 3/5 would be 36, so then count.
Oh, never mind, that makes sense, that makes sense, I get that.
60.
Yeah.
Oh, my dad is bad.
All right, one more time. Clear your mind of everything before right now. Ready, Dominic? You just got here. We're told that this girl has 4 minutes left on her phone card. We're working backwards to find out how much she had to begin with. She called the pizza guy for 5 minutes, so she's up to 9. She talked to her brother for 15, so she's up to 24. What we know about what's left is that 24 is 2/5 of what she started with, right? Because they told us she used 3/5. So 24 is 2/5 of what she started with.
Yeah.
One more time. It told us she used 3/5. What's all of her money? What's all of her card? How many
She has
fifths?
60 minutes.
Okay, so if she used 3/5 of it, the 24 equals 2/5 of it. Does that make sense?
Because she has 2/3 that she already had.
Right. She used 3/5, so this 24 she has without the brother, or before she called the brother, this is 2/5, 24 is 2/5 of that.
She already had.
Because she used 3/5. Normally you would subtract this from her minutes. We're working backwards. You would subtract this from her minutes, so we added them. You would have subtracted this from her minutes, so we added them. You would have taken 3/5 of it, so we took 2/5 of it.
So 3/5. I did it differently. Because I have 3/5.
3/5, 37 minutes.
Yes.
But she used.
No, look. If she had 60 minutes on the card and she used 3/5 of them, she used 36. That's what got her down to 24.
It's just the opposite. If you have 60 and then you take 3/5 of that, then you would have 36. So then you're just doing the opposite, and you have like 2/5. So then you see what 2/5 is. Yeah.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about studying this exam week. You spend 1 hour on math, homework, 45 minutes studying for each of your 3 tests. If you finish studying at 6:30 p.m., what time did you start?
I study late.
How many people go home from school and the first thing they do is homework? Really? Only 2. I'm surprised actually there's 2.
Oh, no, I go
3.
Okay, it depends today, and then I take a shower.
Yeah. If I'm busy, then I'll.
How many don't even start their homework till after 6:30 p.m.?
Well, technically.
Wait, I always practice.
Okay, do the rest of you just not do your homework?
At least I do it when I'm done.
Oh, wait a minute. How many wait till the next morning to do their homework?
No.
1, 2.
My mom comes here like an hour early. Barely ever. Like barely ever.
What?
Where do you fit in that category? Where do you fit? Oh, that's right. You're going rampant. All right, here we go. Find the answer. What time did you start? No. Someone said 3:55, it's not right. Go. You got 45 seconds to find the answer, Brett. You're done studying at 6:30. Work your way back. An hour math homework. That puts you at 5:30. 3 tests, 45 minutes, 45 minutes, 45 minutes.
Oh.
What time did you start?
390.
394.
No.
3:45.
Close.
3:50.
No,
Wait, hold on.
No, 3:35. 3:20.
no. I've heard the answer one time, and it's not 3:25. It's not 3:30.
So it took an hour and 95 minutes for them to do it. So do you subtract that? Is it 5:50?
No.
2 hours. 3:45. Yeah.
Are you going by the resident problem solver? Because you heard him say it. You've heard all these other answers. 3:15. Okay. It's 6:30 right now. If you get back the hour that you studied or you did math homework, it's 5:30. If you get back the 45 minutes for one test,
Oh, I get it. I got it.
it's 4:45. If you get back the 45 minutes for the other test, it's 4 o'clock. And for the third test, 45 minutes,
Oh, yeah.
I just
3:15.
didn't finish adding.
I multiplied it by 3.
I didn't finish adding, but I got it.
Or you could have taken 45 minutes times 3
That's what I
and gotten 135 minutes, which is 2 hours and 15 minutes,
yeah.
and taken 5:30 and go back 2 hours and 15 minutes, 3:15.
I just added them all together. I got 235.
Our school, they start studying as soon as the
Yes. Yes. All right, number 5. Let's talk about the notebook, or your
Number
notebook.
5.
Not the movie, the notebook, your notebook.
That's like really sad movie.
Are you guys old enough to watch the notebook? I don't even know.
It's so depressing.
Isn't it bad? I don't
It's
know.
bad.
PG?
It's not PG. There's no way it's PG. There's no way.
PG-6.
Yeah, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. It's like
No, it's Wait, is the notebook
I don't know. I kind of saw it, but didn't really watch it. It's too love triangle or something.
No, it's just, they fall in love and then we leave and then they fall out of love.
There's this
And then they fall back.
Anyway,
Yeah.
number 5. Use half your ladies and gentlemen, use half your notebook for research paper, 2/3 of the remaining part for class notes. You have 10 pages left. How many pages were in your notebook to start? You're guessing.
Should be.
15.
I'm not taking guesses.
60?
I'm not taking guesses.
50.
Look, you've thrown out 5 different guesses. You're guessing.
I'm not kidding. If you have 10 pages left, and then you use 2/3 of that, so then you'd have 30, and then you used half of it before, so then you would have 60, right?
Say it again.
That's what I got too.
You got 50.
Yeah, you said 50.
I know, I said 50 because you said hers was wrong.
I didn't say yours was wrong. I said you're guessing.
But I wasn't guessing.
Okay, so
Okay.
tell us how you did it again. David, listen up.
So you have 10 pages, but then you already used 2/3, which got you the 10.
Listen.
Okay, so you end up with 10 pages, but then you already used the 2/3, so then you add that back together, which gets you 30, and then you used half, so then you had 60, so then 60.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, 60.
Yeah.
All right. Here's what Dina said. They say you have 10 left. Based on that information, they said you used 1/3 of the half that you started original, 2/3 of what you used. So if you use 2/3, 10 is 1/3 of what?
30.
30.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that again. If you use 2/3 of a value, 10 is 1/3 of it. So that puts you up to 30. And when you get to 30, it says you used half of it.
60.
Well, what's 30 half of?
60.
So you multiply that by 2,
Yeah.
60.
So I was right?
Number 6. No, we're running out of time. We only got 2 minutes. 7, go to 7. You got 30 seconds to figure out 7. You're going to have to simply use guess and check. And Rachel, they are consecutive things like 1, 2, 3, and you have to add them together. But Rachel is educated enough, she's not going to try for her first trial 7 plus 8 plus 9. Because that's going to get her nowhere close to 501. Your strategy is to think of 3 numbers that you could add consecutively that would get you close to a total of 501.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're consecutive odd numbers.
Oh.
We're running out of time. Your first strategy should be to divide 501 by 3. And that will at least get you in the right area to do your first trial. Because they have to be 3 numbers added together for a sum of 501. So if you do 501 divided by 3, and you get your
160.
okay. So if you need use your head now. If 501 divided by 3 is 167, that means 167 plus 167 plus 167 equals 501. So if you're looking for 3 consecutive odd numbers that are going to add up to 501, what are they?
167.
150, 165, 167, 169.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I had. Oh, yeah, because it's the one in the middle.
That makes sense.
Okay, we have one more class before 2020, and then a test on Thursday.
No.
Thursday. Test Thursday.
Mr.